Hey everyone, welcome to your next installment of the GoldenGate Tech Talk series. This is your source for informative and timely tech topics about GoldenGate software, data replication, and cloud data integration. The industry leading data replication software for more than 20 years, GoldenGate is still innovating today and helping thousands of leading brands get the most business value out of their data. As a multi-cloud capable replication engine, GoldenGate helps customers maintain seamless integration across their public clouds. But what makes GoldenGate really special is the breadth and attention to enterprise-class solutions for databases, cloud, big data, NoSQL, and streaming technologies of all kinds, not just Oracle. GoldenGate's rock-solid foundation is the best-in-class for data high availability, high-speed transaction replication, and data warehouse loading. But modern data challenges require the most innovative solutions, and GoldenGate delivers on world-class data lake ingestion, stream data processing for real-time ETL, and advanced stream analytics that include geofencing, time series processing, and machine learning integrations. As a platform for modern data integration, GoldenGate just can't be beat. Well, that's about it for the intro. Let's get on with today's tech topic.
Hello everyone, this is Warner. I am the product manager for Oracle GoldenGate, and today I'm going to show you a quick demo on how to set up the replication from one Oracle database to another Oracle database by using the GoldenGate Microservice architecture, which is the latest version of GoldenGate. Before we start doing any detailed technical steps, I want to give you an overview of all the components we're going to be configuring today. So as everybody know, in microservice architecture, a major difference between it and the classic architecture is it's using the distribution server and the receiver server to replace the original pump extract and the data collector. So in this particular diagram, you can see on the left side, there's a GoldenGate source uh, microservice architecture. And on this left side, there's a source database. So in the source microservice architecture, there is a source deployment we have deployed. And in that deployment, we have extract to extract data from the source database, which we're using is Oracle 12c database, and writing to the GoldenGate trail files. And we have a distribution server to pick up data from trail files and send the data to the target GoldenGate microservice architecture. The target microservice architecture have a Nginx, which is the reverse proxy server configured. And also we have in the target deployment, we have multiple deployments in this microservice architecture. And we're going to send the data to a specific deployment, which is writing to the Oracle 19c database. So the data, when it reaches the Nginx server, it will be passed to a receiver server, and then the trail file will be landed in the trail file location for this target deployment, and then the Replicant process is going to pick the trail file and then push the data to the target database, which is a 19c database. So in this particular demo, we actually have altogether 4 different VMs. The first VM is source database Oracle 12c. Second VM is the GoldenGate source microservice architecture. And the third is a VM for the GoldenGate microservice architecture on the target. And then the end, there's a VM running the Oracle 19c database. And all these 4 VMs are currently running in Oracle Cloud. So that's the basics of the today's architecture. And now let's take a look at the environment. So here is the source GoldenGate microservice architecture. And I have one deployment, which is called the DPR12C. And it has all the 4 services running: administration server, distribution server, performance metric server, and the receiver server. Okay, so this is the name of the source VM. And on the target VM, which is actually a GoldenGate marketplace image, it has altogether 2 deployments. One is for Oracle 12c, another is for Oracle 19c. And we're going to use this 19c on this deployment to write to the target database. Okay, and so for when we look at this deployment and this 19c, which is running on the target deployment, and here's the administration server. So the administration server, if we log into there, from right now we can see everything's clean. There's nothing configured. Okay, and the same thing for the source administration server. But before we can do the detailed steps, there's some preparation work that I have already done ahead of time because I don't have a lot of time for this demo. So I did some preparation work I want to show you. So the first thing is on the source, I have several credentials created. Okay, so this is the Oracle GoldenGate domain. There's a source alias, which is pointing to the source database. Okay, so when we log into source database, we're not going to put in the user ID password. Instead, we're using this credential created here. Okay, and then there's another credential I created is to have a user, which is ggpass, that's the user to log on to the target system. Okay, and this user is needed when we try to send the data from the distribution server to the receiver server. And if you look at this diagram here, when the distribution server talks to the target, um, it go pass through the reverse proxy server, and eventually it's going to get connected to the receiver server. So the target system will need a user ID password for this distribution server to use. And it pass the user ID and password to the receiver server, which will get authenticated whether that user have the login to the target GGMA. So that, if you look at the target um, configuration here, we created a username called ggpass. Okay, it's operator user. This is for the source distribution server to log in. Once this user is created, I have to put this user ID and password information into the source credential store. Again, because we do not want the user ID password to explicitly exposed in any configuration file. So we create a credential called the GG network, which has the credential is the domain called the GG network, alias called the target net, and it has the information user ID, GG pass, and the password in it. So that's the preparation work I did for the source, right? And also this is preparation work I did for a target, so created this additional user. In addition to that, in the target, I also have to create a database login credential here to log into the target database. Okay, so those are all the preparation work I have done. If you have a question or you want to know the detail of how to create this, there's other demo which you can watch to see this. But those are all documented in the reference guide. So with all these credentials ready, let's go ahead to create a extract. So our first step is I'll go to the source in the admin server and click the plus sign to create an extract from scratch. So in this screen, it has you choose 3 different type extract. And for us, we're doing the integrated extract for the online capture. So click next. And this asks you fill in all the detailed configuration information for this extract. So let's give it a name. Let's call it ext_w1. Okay. The description basically is a comment field. You can see demo extract. And this intent leave as is, unidirectional. And the credential domain, that is where you pull in that credential we preset in there. So it's domain is Oracle GoldenGate. The credential alias is source DB, which is if you go here, that's where it is, right? So the domain name and alias, okay? And once you choose that, the begin time, which is now, the current extract, I want to start from the current time. And the trail file name, you can give it 2 letters, or any 2 letters, any 2 combinations, fine. And then this is the size for the testing. I'll just choose a smaller size, okay? And you can choose different subdirectory, but I just put it in the default directory, okay? And these are all the options you can choose, the encryption, what encryption you want to use, all the managed options, like if you want this extract to be treated as critical to the deployment health, you can turn this on. So once you turn this on, in the future, if you check the deployment health, if this extract is down, then the deployment health status will becomes unhealthy, and you will know there's something's not correct. And if this extract is just for test purpose, you don't want to add additional overload to the monitoring, then just turn it off. Okay, so whether it's up and down, it will not affect the overall healthiness display of the deployment. And whether you want it to auto start, auto restart, those are all the additional configuration you can choose. And then there's a registration information because it's the database login is login to CDB. So we have to tell it which PDB you need to capture data from, right? So we choose this PDB to capture data. And right now, So this is all we need to do for the GoldenGate extract configuration. And then you do next, it comes to the GoldenGate parameter file. So for this parameter file, it actually give you a skeleton already from whatever you chose. Okay, and so the user ID alias is the one we previously chose, and then exe trail is et, what we specify there. And then we are going to put some additional parameter in there for our particular extract. So here, let me just put in the additional information. Okay, so basically I will put in, say, DDL include mapped. That means I want to capture the DDL operation. And then the table specification is specify which PDB I'm going to capture from. The schema name dot star. That is the particular table name. We're using wildcard, so which means we are capturing everything under this particular schema. So now I have all the parameters put into this extract already. I can create and run. So when you create and run, two things happen. One is the extract will get added to this environment, and the second is because it's integrated extract is going to get registered to the database. So it will take a while to run. And of course, you have a choice of register extract in the background. So it will get it created first and then do the registration, because this is kind of like a live demo. I want to everything to be done in the real time. So now this extract get registered and started. So when you see this green check mark here, that means this extract is created and is currently running. So while the extract is running, we already have the trail file created. What we can do is we're going to do the second step, which is create a distribution path, right? So the first step here is done. The extract created up and running, and the trail file is created. We're going to create what we call is path. The distribution path in the distribution server to talk to the Nginx and finally need to reach the receiver server. So this part is done in the distribution server, okay? And to log into distribution server, you in the service manager, you can see there's a distribution server and there's a link here. When you click on that, it will log into the distribution server interface like this. So you click the add sign here and add in the distribution server path. So we can call it path W1, and just we see the distribution server path to target. And in this particular configuration, because the distribution server is using the Nginx reverse proxy, so here we need to turn this on, reverse proxy server enable. And also because we are asking the receiver server to authenticate the connection, so we have to use the basic authentication as well. And then the source you can choose in the list out auto extract, you choose exew1, and then you have et as this particular extract trail file. And we're using the WSS, which uses the SSL, which is a better encryption. And the target host need to be the host name of the particular GoldenGate microservice architecture's VM here. Okay, so here, because I already did that before, so I have this host name. This is the host name for the particular target, and also you have to make sure the host name matches the CN name in the certificate the target is using, which I have another detailed video to show you how to do the certificate. So I'm not going to cover the detail in here. The trail file name, that's the target trail file, which is the trail file in here. We'll call it RT. And then the deployment name. So why you need a deployment name? Remember, on the target system, I have multiple deployment. So you have to tell the distribution path which receiver server in the deployment you are going to send the data to, right? So if you look at the target system service manager, we have two deployment here, right? We don't want to reach this one because this one is writing to database 12c. We want to reach 19c, right? So that's why you need to put the deployment name of the target in the path. So here is the deployment we're going to reach, and it automatically gives you the string. And then here is the information you have to put in on how you are going to connect to the target, which is the preparation work we done previously, the GGS network and target net, right? So we need to put this information in there. And here we basically finish all the essential configuration parameters for distribution, the distribution paths. And here I want to use a smaller file size, so just 50 meg. And there's additional encryption information you can use, right? And then there's different position can position that, but no, I'm not going to do these things for the demo. And the same thing, critical or not, auto restart. Those are all optional, and you can choose create the path. So what it does is it will create the path here, but again, the path has not started running yet. So we can go here to choose to start this path. All right, so the path gets started and then it's up and running. So as soon as on the source side, the path is created and running, when you go to the target side, you go to receiver server. Again, the target side, you have receiver server link here. Once you click on that, it automatically shows there's already a path coming from the source. And this is where the source trail, where's the target trail, everything's showing up here. Okay, so then we finished the second step, which is the distribution server path. So now the data already landed in this trail file. And the next step is we're going to use a Replicant to pick up the data from here to push to the target. So to do the Replicant, you have to go to the administration server on the target GoldenGate Microservice architecture, right? And then, as I showed you earlier, I already did all these configurations. This is the not the replication configuration. Instead, it's a preparation job to get the database connection credentials done in here. But there's no Replicant configured yet, right? So it's still empty. So we click the plus sign, try to configure the Replicant. The same thing, it gives you the WebUI interface, walk you through all the steps we're configuring an integrated Replicant. Next, and then we give the Replicant name. Okay, and then description, demo Replicant. So we intend to leave this unidirectional. Credential domain is the Oracle GoldenGate target DB. So see, as soon as you choose the credential alias, it's actually connected to the target database directly and already read all the information about the target database. And then you can tell the where it's to start from trail file and the trail file position and where's the source trail file. We choose a trail, not a file, right? So the trail name is RT, and that is what we show here, right? Because this is RT we received. And checkpoint table. We'll choose one checkpoint table here. Again, this checkpoint table was also created ahead of time. It's very easy. Just use the DB credential, go there and give it checkpoint table name. And then I'm going to skip all the other optional things like encryption, management options. Those are pretty much the same as extract. You can choose whether it's critical for deployment or not, auto start, auto restart. So those are, I'm just going to leave as is. And then go to click next. So the next, it also gives you the skeleton of your replica parameter file pre-generated. So I'm going just to change a little bit on the map statement here because I need to put in the source where it comes from. And just put it like this. Okay, so from my source, this is my source PDB name and my source schema name U1 and star target. I want to map to target like U1 as well. Okay, so this is my Replicant parameter file, what it look like. And then I just click create and run. And then we'll just create the Replicant and try to register and then start it up. So when you see this turns to green, the Replicant is up running. So if you click on actions, you can see all the detail of your Replicant, the checkpoint information, right here, and the statistics. Of course, there's 0 right now because we haven't done anything. And also the Replicant parameter, the Replicant report file, right? So the same for the extract as well. If you go here to see the extract, let's refresh it. Go to action, see detail. So the extract up running, checkpoint information, the SE numbers, right? And the parameters, report file, the same thing. Now you don't have to log into the server. You just can check the report file right on the web UI. So both now, up to this point, we have configured the extract, the distribution path, the replicate. So if there's any data happening to this environment on the source, it's going to be transferred immediately to the target in real time. Okay. And also one thing I want to show you is in this particular deployment, we have a performance metric server. Okay. When you click on the performance metric server, it actually shows you all the current running component. You can monitor the performance of this component. For example, we're interested in the extract, click the extract, it will pull in all the information of the current running extract process from the CPU usage to the IO byte to the memory usage to the WSS delta and IO count. Those are all the information which we can show you for the current running extract and the process, and also it has all the other features, other particular numbers we can choose for like status and a trail file, database statistics, and the other statistics, which I'm not going to show you right now because extract is not running, right? I'm sorry, the extract is running, but it's not processing the data. So what I'm going to show you is once I start to pump the data into the source and how these numbers are going to change. The same thing on the target side, you can go to the matrix server and you will see there's a replicate running here. You click on replicate, it shows you the same number of the replicate process, how replicate is doing. And right now, pretty much replicate is not doing a lot of things because there's basically nothing for it to do. So it's basically just periodically check on the trail files if there's any more data to process. The same thing as extract, it just periodically check the redo log, see if there's any data to process. Now, let's try to make some transactions to the system and see how they behave. So from the source, let's go to our source database. Okay. So this source database, we have two tables called the tcustomer and tcusord. Okay. And at the target, we also have the similar two tables, tcustomer, tcusord. Right now, they're all empty. Okay. And this is the showing you the source database name, target database name, just show you they are from two totally different databases, different the containers as well. So I have a small script to run to populate some data into these two tables. What I'm going to do is I'm going to populate altogether 4,000 records every 200 records as a transaction. So there's approximately like 20 transactions for this particular operation. So this on the source, I'm going to hit enter. It's going to do this insert to both tables. It's done. And now if we come back to the extract statistics, you can see there's a huge jump on the IO and on the CPU, right? And this shows it detect the data, start pushing the data out. So the jump, the peak quickly came down, right? So this shows that transaction, all these transactions has been processed. If you go to the target as well, see the target replicate have the similar jump almost the same time, right? And because it's real time. And since the peak is over, so it's already done. So by now, if we go to the database itself, we go to check. So the source, we do a select count. There's 4,000 records in there already. And the same thing, 4,000 records. Sorry for the typo. Right? So if I do the same thing to the target, 4,000 is already here. And then to do the same thing to this guy. Sorry. Copy the wrong line. Okay, and the 4,000 records already there. So you can see it's pretty real time because this is a demo environment. There's nothing going on in the environment right now. Right, so once everything's done, it goes back to the normal pattern again. So you just periodically check where's anything coming up and what it's doing. And here the same thing on the target. You can see the replicate going to the periodical checking again for all the components what they are running. And also, in addition to this real-time threads, all this information, if you look at the database statistics here, you can see it actually reported the extract statistics. There's 4,000 inserts for this table T customer, 4,000 inserts for the table T customer. And there are two DDL operations as well we captured, which is the truncate tables before everything started. So it gives you all the detailed information of even database name, the database server, the process running in there, global name in the database. All this information is available. And you can also check the procedure statistics. We didn't call any single procedure, so there's nothing showing here, but there's cache statistics here to showing you when we're processing this transaction, what kind of memory size we're using, right? So you can see we use a lot of the memory size under 64K, and we also use some memory size like 1 gig. So it shows you all the statistics, and it's very helpful when you try to analyze the big transaction issues. The same number is available for Replicant side as well. So if you go to the table statistics, it's going to tell you how many operations I did for my target table, 4,000 inserts, right? And this for each of table, and the same thing, the two DDL statements, the truncate statement, and the same thing for the database information. The trail files, how much bytes, how many bytes I read from trail files, my current RBA of the trail files, where the trail files location is, how many reads I did from trail files. Those are all the detailed information it can show you to help you to monitor the performance and sometimes to help you to troubleshoot as well, right? And the last operation lag time is milliseconds, which is about like 4 milliseconds in this case. And so it's quite real time, I would say. This is the input checkpoint RBA, where it's reading from trail file and also the timestamp. You can also take a look at the status and configuration, gives you all the information about the Replicant configuration statistics. You can also go to the target metric server. Remember, we have a distribution server running as well. So the distribution server, it has the similar monitor stuff, monitor the CPU, memory, I/O. Basically, each critical GoldenGate component will have the similar the monitor and metrics information in here. The same thing if you go to the distribution server statistics, it will tell you how many operations are captured and for each table. And this should really match what the extract reported if you are not doing any filtering in there, right? So that's the performance and the metrics server, which is very useful for the real-time monitoring for the all the GoldenGate processes. So this is pretty much conclude today's demo. So again, we have configured the GoldenGate replication from Oracle 12c to Oracle 19c using the extract distribution server, go to the reverse proxy and go to receiver server, and then use Replicant to push the data. So again, this is Warner and Oracle Product Manager. Hopefully today's information is helpful to you, and thanks a lot for your time. Take care. Bye.
Hey everyone, thanks again for tuning in to this edition of the GoldenGate Tech Talk series. Be sure to check out all the other cool Tech Talks that are out there and stay tuned for more as they become available.